I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And back with me on a Friday afternoon, can't say it's a good one for me, but it is Friday, is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. How are things over there?
Not bad. Not too bad. You got it all figured out, so it's all good. We're rolling.
Oh, that was the least of my fucking problem. It was just really unnecessary 10 minutes right there that I'd like to get back of my life. But yeah, today I was big option expiration date, and I had to bite the bullet and buy back some fucking positions. That just unbelievable that they actually came to fruition. Absolutely unbelievable. I sold some covered calls on a position that was already up over 100% on the year. And I sold a covered call that was so far out of the money. It only cost me like 12 cents a contract. So I made like $250 on this covered call because I put it another 50% higher in a month. So I'm like, yeah, if this stock goes up by another 50% in the next 30 days, I can let it go. I think I could let it go. Care to guess how much it's up today? Since I sold the covered call, it's up over 100% again. I've never owned a stock that moved like that in a month. And of course, the only time I do own it is when I sell a covered call to eliminate all of the upside. 50% of it. It really is unbelievable, man. So yeah, I bought back that position and another one. Cost me a small fortune, but I'm very bullish on the stock in general. I just did not think that I dared it to go up, and it's like, yeah, okay.
All right, let's do that.
I'll take that bet. So some other motherfucker out there, this is what really grinds my gears, because you know there's always somebody on the other side of the trade. Bet $250 and made $6,000 today. That's a 3,000% fucking profit for him. That son of a bitch. Must be nice.
You just made somebody's day. So while you might have had a shitty day, you made somebody else's day. So take
well, I plan on getting it all back and more, but might be a good time to short that stock for anybody that wants to use me as the Jim Cramer. But luckily today it was a gold mining stock. We finally got a fucking pullback in gold. Dude, it would have cost me over $8,000 to buy it back yesterday. Damn. Just unbelievable. So.
What did you see? There's something where one of the guys was talking about it on the morning show this morning, where Florida is going to start accepting gold and silver coins as, like, I mean,
they should.
They should, right? That should be a standard anyway, but Florida is going to start accepting gold and silver coins for monetary purposes. So like gold's kind of making its comeback. I think it's a lack of confidence in the economy and all these markets and everything.
I wouldn't be giving them my gold. I give them those fucking worthless pieces of paper that they print like they're going out of style. If it were me. Yeah, I mean, gold has just been on an absolute tear. Like I said, that stock did not have a down. Like every Tuesday it was down maybe like 2%, but every Monday it was up 8, 9, 10%. Every fucking Monday, and pulled back a little bit, and then the rest of the week it was up, and then would gap up Monday. I just watched it just fucking take off like a rocket ship. And pretty much all these, I mean, gold broke 4,000 for the first time only like 2 weeks ago. Not even. When did it break 4,000? Hang on. Let me pull up the daily chart here real quick. So gold broke 4,000 last Monday. Last Friday. Yeah. Like Wednesday, it broke above 4,000. Wednesday, October 8th. And then it pulled back to 39.66. And then it just fucking took off like a rocket ship. And it was up, $100 basically every day. Now today it pulled back about 100. But yeah, it's taken off. I think there's just a big lack of confidence in the dollar worldwide. I think the institutions, the ones that are in charge of the monetary supply and the bankers and all those motherfuckers, I think they're the ones that are stepping in and buying all these dips, because as soon as it pulls back, people step in to buy it. And I think the smaller investors are starting to roll into silver, which is why it's over $50 now. It's $51.60 as I speak, but it got as high as 54. So it's down almost 5% on the day today. But I if it were me, I would buy that dip. But what the fuck do I know? I just spent 10 grand buying back positions today. So not investment advice. That'll teach me. But yeah, what are we talking about today? Sorry, I'm all out of whack here. I had to close out position like while I was doing that stupid microphone shit because the market's about to close.
Well, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We promised that we would talk about all the Letitia James bullshit.
Yes.
And we can still do that.
I got a lot of shithole Chicago stuff, so make sure you got the music queued up.
There's a bunch of shithole Chicago stuff between J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson and people getting shot. We've got Zoran Mamdani, who looks like he's going to be the next mayor of fucking New York City. That's absolutely insane. What else we got? I thought this would be a fun little lead-in. We really thought when he got elected that John Fetterman was going to be comedy gold for the podcast. Yeah. And instead, his brain seems to have healed. He got rid of his insane wife, and suddenly he became like a rational, reasonable person. And because of that, the left is trying to find a way to get him out of office. They do not like. So I've got a bunch of clips and stuff, but here's the article from Axios. Dems plot Fetterman ouster. Top Democrats in Pennsylvania are maneuvering to run against Senator John Fetterman in a 2028 primary contest, threatening to tear the party apart in the biggest battleground state in the nation.
Go ahead.
I was say he voted in favor of reopening the government and gave a very rational, reasonable explanation for why he voted with the Republicans on that. And then he came out on stage at like a Democrat event and said effectively, he's like, we're running on like this being the Republicans shutting it down and them trying to like take away this healthcare and stuff. They're the Democrats are the ones who built it into the program that it would expire at the end of this year anyway. So we're the ones who took it away. He's just like laying it all out there. And now they fucking hate him because because he had the audacity to be honest and say he was voting for the country over the party. He wanted to do what he thought was the right thing for the country, not toe the party line. And now that's it. They're fucking done with him. That's the worst thing you can do, is not toe the party line. Like, if you put country first, you are an enemy of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Yeah. They really show their true colors. It's pretty amazing. And what's that saying? Like I'm going to butcher it. It's like something about the love of a good woman can do something for a man. Like, apparently the opposite is also true. When you have a fucking psychotic bitch as a wife, it can have the equal opposite effect as the love of a good woman. Because Fetterman completely did a 180, and his brain healed. That's
well, maybe he showed us what the template should be. Like, run as a Democrat, push all of the most insane, woke, retarded bullshit, and then when they love you and elect you for it, fake a brain injury, and then come out and just start voting with Republicans on stuff. And that's not what he's done by any means. John Fetterman's voting record, I think he's like 92 or 96% of the time he votes with the Democrats. But every time he doesn't, it's on something big and something meaningful. Like, what we've talked about, some of the ones that, they have their principled stance on stuff. And so they'll vote against something even when it's inconsequential and it's not going to change the vote. Like, they'll vote their principle and accomplish not a fucking thing. Whenever it's actually mattered and it's been something important, John Fetterman has voted his conscience over voting the party line, and that has just absolutely pissed them off.
Yeah, they will not, like, they just refuse to vote with Republicans on pretty much anything. I guess you're siding with literal Nazis at that point, right? So you just can't do it. It really is just. I mean, it just goes to show you what kind of game they're playing here, and the idea that what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I found it. This might be the actual nail in his coffin. Speaking of the games they're playing and shit.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump, but they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution and those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that.
He lost me at the end there, but yeah, what a rat. It's how refreshing is that to hear from a fucking Democrat? You'll never hear any of them say something so just rational and balanced. I just wish he'd ditch the stupid fucking hoodie thing. I hate gimmicky shit like that.
It's a shtick. I mean,
I know, it drives me crazy.
There was another clip where somebody asked him about something in particular, and he was like, "This is why we are losing the young white male vote." And they said, "Is there anything the Democrat Party can do to get that back?" And he said, "Honestly, I'm not sure. And if we continue going in the direction we are, the answer is no." Like this is the shit. Like just being rational and saying the stuff that they don't want said out loud has put him on the fucking chopping block.
Yeah, it's it would do their like, and that's the problem with the Democratic Party is they think that's a bad approach. Where if the vast majority of Democrats in Congress would have that approach, they would be much more appealing to the vast majority of Democrats. It's like, yeah, you'll lose that fringe fucking 2S LGBTQIA plus community, but who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit about that? I still don't understand why they cater to such a small percentage of lunatics who are never going to, like, if anything, they'll just abstain from voting. But chances are they're going to vote for the Democrat no matter what.
Well, like I said it before the 16 election and again before the 20 election. I was like, I wish the Democrats would run somebody that's sane, reasonable, rational, that didn't want to push all these massive social programs and stuff, that didn't want to push all of the DEI and all of the woke stuff. Like if they just had somebody that was like a Fetterman, they would do a lot better. And like, you actually wouldn't feel like, oh my God, the country is going to go to hell like it did for 4 fucking years under Biden. You know, if they would just use him as the template, but they won't do that. They absolutely refuse. Instead, they double down on the complete opposite side of that and continue to, and they don't even like, we've talked about it before. The guy that, you know, on the NBC coverage on election night, that he was like, we did this. We created this problem. We treated all of these like different demographics as voting blocks instead of treating them like human beings. And the other side was able to get them to vote for them because they treat them like human beings, not like voting blocks. Like, and then he got fired a month and a half later. Like, you know, you're not allowed to say the obvious shit out loud.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever gonna. Well, I was listening to some clips from the, I guess AOC and Bernie had a town hall. If you really want to bleed out of your fucking ears,
two people and not a single brain cell.
And then there was the New York gubernatorial debate was yesterday, and I was listening to some of that, and it's like, dude, they just have not learned any lessons, especially like the AOCs of the world. Like they just have not figured this out. They just keep doubling and tripling down on these losing positions on losing issues, and it's just so easy to not go down that road, to just take the other side of it. I'm just amazed at how bad they are at this.
More often than not, it's just as easy as don't side with a murdering lunatic, and they can't do it. They cannot fucking do it. Instead, they make it about race, or they make it about immigrations, or they make it about any of these hot topics that are
the text messages.
Yeah, they make it about all this stuff that if you look at polling and stuff from the 2024 election, it's a lot of the key issues that people voted for Trump because of, and the Democrats continue to double down on the things that drove people to vote for Trump in 2024. It's like all of the information is out there. In the information age, being uninformed is like a highest crime. The Democrats refuse to look at the stats. They refuse to look at the data. They refuse to look at any of the the exit polling stuff, and instead they just continued to double down on the things that lost them 2024. And you lost every fucking swing state. Has that ever happened? Ever? Like,
I think, didn't it happen with like
maybe with
Nixon
Obama? Or yeah. Nixon was wildly popular. Golly, have you ever looked at the electoral map when Nixon won? Jeez Louise.
Yeah, that's what that's the only one that kind of comes to mind. But yeah, but they're just coping. They're just like, oh no, that was a rigged election or something, because Elon owns Twitter, and I don't know. Like they can't come to terms with it.
Which is it? Okay. Did the Republicans rig the election because Elon owns Twitter, or Is Twitter a dying social media platform, and Elon is losing money hand over fist on it because nobody's on there? Which is it?
Yeah, they've completely lost the plot, and they refuse to just capitulate. Just like, yo, we have like really fucked this up over the last 10-15 years.
Well, talking about the New York gubernatorial debate, and AOC and Bernie Sanders, all the socialists and stuff. We've got you sent a couple clips talking about what is probably going to be the new governor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Here's one where they're talking about how he's going to go after small businesses.
So a lot of individuals in this city pay more than 50% of their income in taxes. When you talk about a fair share, how much more than, what is the fair share? What's the number?
I've said that we should increase personal income taxes by 2%.
Is fair?
And my point is this:
give up more than half of your income. That's
if you're making $1 million in New York City, or more than that, you can afford to pay 2% more. And the reasons you can afford to do so is because that money will be used to better your quality of life as well.
Yeah.
Because when I speak to the wealthiest New Yorkers, I hear concerns about the cleanliness of the city, the quality of life in the city, questions of public safety. This money is the money that will be used to deliver on those things so that we can ensure that we have a return on investment for all of the money that we are raising and spending right here across the 5 boroughs.
Yeah. So far, the ROI on taxes in New York is spectacular, right? The first 50%, we couldn't quite do it. But this 2%, that means we're gonna stop releasing the 15-time fucking felons to go back out in the street and stab people. You're not gonna get pushed onto the fucking train platforms anymore. Okay. And
you're gonna clean everything up. It's gonna be
just 2% more. The bullshit, dude. What about the other 50%? What did you do with all that? This is just so ridiculous, dude. And it's happening in Chicago too with Brandon Johnson. Like, this is what they do. They grow the size of the fucking government across the board. The unions, the teacher in Chicago, the teachers unions, the fucking police unions. The government is corrupt as hell. They're spending way too much money. And so they just keep bilking the taxpayers, and people leave. And that leaves a bigger hole in the budget. And so now they need to raise the taxes again. And they just keep finding more ways to rape the fucking citizens instead of solving the real problem, which obviously if you're the problem, you're not going to solve yourself. This should be fucking obvious to everybody. How many more times are you going to let them raise your taxes before you realize that they are the fucking problem? What's 2% going to get them? Besides, more millionaires and billionaires leaving New York and more businesses leaving New York. Well, it's not going to get them what they expect. It's like, oh, this will raise like $900 billion a year, whatever number they come up with. No, it won't, because people aren't going to pay the 2%. They're going to leave. They're going to rearrange their affairs.
Well, I scrolled past it right before we started, and I should have clicked it. So there was another article that was talking. So there's a video of him saying, we're going to reduce regulations on small businesses and do all this stuff to help small businesses. And then his entire plan for fixing New York City is $30 mandatory minimum wage across the board. That'll put most of those small businesses out of business. He also wants to consolidate the way they do taxes and stuff, to raise taxes on small businesses. Like, okay, you're going to remove the regulations, and then you're going to make them pay $30 an hour to every employee, and you're going to tax their eyeballs out. Like, you will effectively end small businesses entirely in New York City within 2 years. If he's able to do everything that he wants to do, it will completely destroy every small business in the entire fucking city within 2 years, probably.
Yeah, but buses will be free.
Yeah,
which, according to him, will reduce the tax on buses or something.
How's he planning on paying for that?
I haven't even listened to this. I just saw the fucking headline.
But the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've put forward 2 proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to.
There you go. So he's planning on $9 billion from those 2 tax increases. Anybody want to take the other side of that bet that they don't get $9 billion or $900 million? What do you say? 400 million and 500 million, right?
Numbers they won't achieve.
100%. It's guaranteed they won't get it.
New York City already saw under de Blasio a bunch of the top 1% leave the state, leave the city because of the taxes that were already in place. You're going to raise their taxes? Okay, they're going to leave. Like, that's the thing about people who have that much income. They have enough disposable income to say, hey, it's actually cheaper to just pack up and move somewhere else than to stay here. So, like, they'll fucking do it. And then whenever they do that, you're not changing your, like, the increased taxes, and the fallout from that is going to raise prices on everything. So everybody else is going to end up paying for it anyway. Raising their corporate tax rate, like New Jersey, you know how like many big corporations actually headquarter themselves in New Jersey because of that corporate tax rate? Not a whole fucking lot. It's like, how's that going to work out for you?
Dude, it's just so simple and obvious. They have to understand this. They have to. But they're just unwilling to do anything else. Like, notice that he didn't talk about cutting anything. I've never heard him talk about we're going to make this part of the government smaller. We're going to reduce government salaries or something like. Nope, nothing like that. No. It's always on the taxpayer. No, we're just going to tax you guys a little more. We're going to take more of your money. And you're going to get this. You're going to get a great return on this investment this time. I know it's blown up in your fucking face every other time. But for some reason, this extra 2% here and a little extra corporate tax rate, that's going to solve everything. It's so fucking ridiculous at this point. It's more ridiculous a claim than the climate alarmists saying that Florida is going to be underwater. It's more ridiculous. There's a better chance of Florida being underwater than a tax increase solving any of these problems in the cities. It's just you cannot tax your way out of these problems. It's like standing, I forget who said it, but it's like you're standing in a bucket and you're trying to pick yourself up by the handle of the bucket. It's impossible because you're in the fucking bucket. Jesus, dude. I don't understand how people can vote. I mean, obviously, the people that vote for it aren't the ones that are going to see the tax increase, or at least they don't think they are the ones.
Right. They don't think they are.
Yeah. But you're going to see it. You're going to see it through inflation. You're going to see it through, all these, the cost of everything going up. And guarantee you the services are not going to get better.
Well, and that's the big problem that we've talked about with voting before is that if you let net takers be the ones who determine what policy is going to be, then obviously they're going to vote for free shit because they don't have anything invested in it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That's one of the problems with them. I mean, obviously, if you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul, you can count on the vote of Paul. But once Peter leaves, what are you going to give Paul? Nothing. You got nothing to give him. Oh, man, it's infuriating to watch these idiots operate and people vote for him. So yeah, they had a real weird, I listened to maybe 30 minutes of the debate that they had with him, Cuomo, and some other, the Republican-ish candidate. And it was just really bad.
Even
really fucking bad.
That Republican candidate is a fucking joke. Even the Republicans in New York have been trying to get the Republican candidate to withdraw and put his backing to Andrew Cuomo. Everybody's like, dude, you don't stand a chance. At least pull out and back Cuomo, and maybe we can stand a shot of not ending up with a fucking full blown commie as the mayor.
Yeah, I'm still. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to see if making the buses free will reduce assaults. Because he claimed that in one of the clips I say. We don't even need to play it. It's only an 8-second clip.
Wait,
But
is that
somehow
why,
in
is
his-
that why they're so violent on the buses? Because they have to pay? If they didn't have to pay, then they wouldn't be so angry and they wouldn't be stabbing people and shit.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. The $2.50 or something to get onto the bus.
I mean, that makes sense because who's carrying change, right? Like, make it $2 even, and then we can can we can we do the tap to pay thing with our phone? Like, let's.
Yeah,
streamline.
I have a CTA card. It's got $500 on it. Anybody that's still residing in the shithole that is Chicago, I'll give it to you for $250.
Johnny says
because they're making it virtually impossible for me to get my money. I have to like prove to them that I left the state with like 4 different forms of ID and bank statements and shit just to get my own money back.
Johnny's like 50 cents on the dollar. It's yours.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be fucking suicide. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll give it to one of my friends. I don't want to incentivize my friends to go on public transportation. They're going to get fucking stabbed.
You don't want to encourage your friends to ride the bus in Chicago. What? I thought Chicago was we can get to it early, I guess. I thought Chicago was like a really safe place, Johnny. Oh wait, no, it's actually just a shithole.
Absolutely is. Oh yeah.
Shithole Chicago, where the wind is cold and the people are low. Broken down buildings, ain't no place to go. But the music keeps playing in shithole Chicago.
All right. Speaking of how safe and wonderful Chicago is.
We just got new information about this shooting. We can confirm, according to Chicago police, that 4 people were shot, 3 men and 1 woman. We're told by police that they were on a sidewalk when they were hit in a drive-by. All were taken to a nearby hospital and are expected to be okay. Those victims range in age from 22 to 60 years old. But you're taking a look at video right now from earlier this morning showing that massive police presence. They've been on scene now for hours investigating the circumstances of the shooting at the intersection of Division and Dearborn in the city's Gold Coast neighborhood. We know that 1 block east towards State Street is also taped off right now as officers continue to investigate. You can see dozens of shell casings and evidence markers on the ground there as part of this investigation. We did speak with one man a little bit earlier this morning who said that he'd heard dozens of gunshots.
30 gunshots woke me up a couple hours ago, and I didn't come out until I got a sense that it was all over. It's frequent. We hear gunfire in this neighborhood frequently, mostly people leaving bars, fighting with each other.
People, yeah.
People.
So Dearborn and Division, for anybody not familiar with the shithole that is Chicago, that is like the heart of the Gold Coast, like prime downtown area. I was just gonna try to look up like the property taxes and shit, but my Grok thing looks weird. Oh, that's why.
Did you see where ICE did a raid in Chicago and found like 7 kids that had been previously missing, and like that the Biden administration just straight up fucking lost? They found 7 kids that the Biden administration had lost in Chicago when they did this raid. They found like 83 illegal guns when they did this raid. Like, I mean, in Chicago, that's probably what you need just to survive. But like,
yeah, based on the latest data from major real estate platforms, the average sale price for properties in the Gold Coast is approximately $651,000. Yeah. Median 543. But like, yeah, the price per square foot is around $600. So 4 times the Chicago average, according to Grok here. Like these are really nice, high-rise apartment buildings, brownstone walk-ups and shit. Like, you got money. Like, that guy's got money if he's living on the Gold Coast. Like, his taxes he's the one that, Brandon Johnson's talking about when he's like, I'm going to raise your taxes. And the property taxes, I'm sure, are fucking insane. And now you just have drive-bys every once in a while. Like that shit used to be South Side, West Side. Okay, fine. We know not to go over to those areas. But in the fucking Gold Coast, Jesus, it is an absolute shithole, and they have no solution for it. Like, Brandon Johnson, what's he gonna do?
He's gonna raise taxes and get more money so that they can start more social programs,
after school programs. Yeah.
Brandon
Kids aren't going to fucking school.
Brandon Johnson is now proposing a new head tax to fix the deficit after destroying the budget. All companies employing 100+ people in Chicago will have to pay a tax of $21 per employee per month simply for having employees. You employ people? Pay up.
Yeah. So you remember, you get less of what you tax and more of what you subsidize. And so as soon as that tax goes into effect, any company with more than 100 employees is making damn sure they're at 99. I mean, unless you have like 500 employees or something, then you'll probably just move the business. Like they've already lost a shit ton of major businesses over the years. I think I have a list somewhere. Boeing, Walgreens, Citadel, to name a few, have all left, and now they're putting this one in. Okay. I'm sure that'll work out. I mean, remember was it Obamacare? It was like over 100 employees or something. You had to pay like some sort of tax. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have 105 employees or something, 5 employees are getting cut.
Well, Chicago has to raise taxes so they can afford to finish building the Obama Presidential Library.
Another beautiful, yeah.
Look at this. Look at this hideous. What the fuck?
Dude, I don't know what DEI hire got to design this thing. It literally just looks like a cinder block sitting in the fucking middle of nowhere. There's no windows, really.
This is like if the Borg built a library.
Yeah. Yeah, or like something out of like Mad Max, or like a wing of the fucking Death Star. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is that thing? And of course, they still haven't built it. It's like, I don't know. When did they start this project? I know it's way behind schedule and way over budget.
Yeah, they've already spent $830 million, and it's projected by the time it's done, it's going to break $1 billion.
Dude, the level of bullshit and corruption. Like, who gives this presidential library? And they put it on the South Side. What percentage of fucking people on the South Side do you think are going to read books at the Obama Presidential Library? This is just a money laundering fucking scheme. It's all it is. It's like all the other shit that these politicians are doing. Speaking of, did you see JB Pritzker has had 1.4 million in gambling winnings last year?
Yeah, gambling winnings.
He claims it was blackjack. He claims in one sitting at blackjack, he walked away with 1.4 million, I think.
That's fucking insane. You know how much you would have to walk into the table with to win a 1.4 million? Good God.
Yeah, that's a crazy. I mean, he is a billionaire. So for those of you not familiar with the Pritzkers, they're like the fucking Hyatt, the heirs to the Hyatt fortune. Yeah, just fucking billionaires.
Well, when somebody called him on it at one of his press conferences, he just laughed. He was like, "Oh, I just had a really lucky night." It's like, what?
I mean, I guess that's if it was actually if it was poker, he's getting paid off 100%. That's some fucking union that's just dumping money into the pot and folding on purpose because they want something from him. I don't know how you do that playing blackjack. But it is a little fishy. That's for sure. But yeah, so him and his wife reported 10.3 million in taxable income and 1.4 million in gambling winnings. Now that I heard that they're going to donate the gambling winnings.
Now they got caught.
Yeah. Oh, we'll donate it. We'll give it to the fucking trannies.
Like this is the governor of Illinois. Like, what's the governor of Illinois' salary? Remember when Trump was running for president the first time around, and they kept making such a big deal about his tax returns and stuff, and Joe Biden was like, "Oh, I'll show you my tax returns. Look," and he paid $6 million in taxes. It's like, you know how much money that motherfucker made to have to pay $6 million in taxes? It's like, he has never done anything other than be a politician. Like, what does he contribute that he is like, nobody questions, like, where the fuck is all this money coming from?
I don't understand it, man. I really don't. Their entire base hates the rich, yet every single one of the people they vote for are filthy rich, filthy fucking rich, and never contributed anything to society. They got, like, the way politicians get rich is a zero-sum fucking game. They take it from somebody. They're not starting a business and providing a service. No. They're just fucking stealing it. At least with the Elon Musks of the world, you get something in return. So I can't understand how they square that retarded worldview. Millionaires and billionaires shouldn't exist, but let me just go vote for the millionaires and billionaires to run the country. And how do they become millionaires? And like, they become millionaires and billionaires in the most dishonest, destructive way possible. And yet they hate the Elon Musks of the world, the Jeff Bezos. They hate those guys because they shouldn't exist. But Joe Biden and fucking Bernie Sanders, they should exist with their, hundreds of millions of dollars. From doing what again? Oh yeah, Bernie wrote a book. Okay. It's unbelievable, man. It really is just unfucking believable. The level of I don't even know what the word for it is. Cognitive dissonance.
I guess maybe having talking about the Obama thing, I guess maybe having your like presidential library look like something fucking retarded is just a like a Democrat thing. Because here's the Clinton presidential library in Little Rock, and it looks equally goofy and like, what the fuck? Not
it looks like a double wide or something up on stilts.
Right. This is perfect to put on the river in Little Rock. It looks like a double wide on stilts. And like, what the fuck? Like the Bush presidential library looks pretty cool. The HW and the W, like both of their presidential libraries look kind of neat. HW is.
Why does every president get a fucking library again?
That's where they store all the documents they weren't supposed to take with them when they left. You gotta build a library so that you can hide all the shit about all the things you did that were illegal and would land you in jail or worse if it all came out. That's why the Obama one is so big and impressive. They got a lot of fucking shit to hide. Like,
and that's why there's no windows or anything. Dude, it looks like a prison.
I mean, they're putting it on Chicago's South Side, so maybe they're planning on, like, if the library thing doesn't pan out, we can just start.
Yeah, or they have to protect against all those drive-bys, so there's no windows in the first 15 stories.
Nobody gets shot while they're in there.
Jesus Christ, dude. What a racket. What a goddamn racket. If you believe that Pritzker got 1.4 million honestly in gambling winnings, if you believe that they're just building these presidential libraries out of the kindness of their heart and they're not using it to dole out fucking kickbacks to everyone that did something for them while they were in office, if you believe they're writing these books, I have a bridge over Brooklyn to sell you.
Dude, H.W. Bush's library looks pretty fucking cool. I think I might want to visit it sometime. It actually looks really neat.
Pull it up. Let's see it.
Here's just scrolling through like the images of it and stuff. I showed you the picture of the outside, and you can see some of the pictures of the inside. It's pretty cool looking.
Okay, yeah. At least that looks like I don't know, like a government building. You know?
Yeah.
High ceilings, got the pillars, little skylight, some natural light coming through.
Yeah, it's pretty neat looking.
But they are just laundering money through these fucking things.
Oh, absolutely. And the people that get the building contracts for these are like, people that did them favors at some point to,
100%. The union gets they get the vote of the union, and then the union gets the no bid contract to spend 10 years building a fucking dude. Like, how long did it take to build like the Hoover Dam? Wasn't it like 5 years or something? And they can't even get a fucking library up. Hoover Dam. How long did that take to build?
The Hoover Dam was constructed over a period of approximately 5 years from 1931 to 1936, which was 2 years ahead of schedule.
2 years ahead of schedule in 5 years in the 1930s. What else could we look? What about the Golden Gate Bridge? I think that was built about the same time. Because what was that bridge that collapsed in Baltimore? They haven't built that yet, right? How are they doing on that?
The Golden Gate Bridge took just over 4 years to build, from January of 1933 to May of 1937.
Okay. So we basically built those simultaneously. And the Hoover Dam has been producing electricity for God knows how many people ever since then. That's a return on an investment. How long they've been working on the Obama library?
They started on it in 2020. So,
okay. So it's been 5 years. Not done yet. And you're going to get nothing out of it.
Let's see. They expect the Baltimore Bridge to be completed by 2028.
So in about the same amount of time, 5 years or so? So that was like 2 years ago. What was it, a year ago?
Yeah. So it'll all said and done, it'll probably take right at 4 years if they stay on. But they're rebuilding the Golden Gate Bridge 100 years later with all the new technology and everything, and it's taking the exact same amount of time. Well, the difference is they don't have all of that, imported cheap Asian labor because those folks just worked. Like if one of them died, they just built them into the foundation and kept going, So that probably helped. It's like, bring another boatload, keep building. That's why those things have stood for so long. Like blood, sweat, and tears, and bones and meat and everything. Like all these little Asian dudes just crushed up and set in the foundation.
Oh God, what a nightmare the government is, dude. It's just they just keep getting worse and worse at everything and demanding more and more money. Only governments can get away with that.
Well, and like the thing with the bridge, like, okay, they project that it'll be done by 2028. What are the odds of that actually happening? When is a government project ever actually finished on time? In the last 20, 30
years. Yeah. It was probably it was the Hoover Dam or something that was done 2 years early.
Yeah.
I bet you there was some sort of incentive. I bet you it was like for every month you finish ahead of schedule, we give you an extra 50 grand or something.
Well, and like, you were talking about the no bid contracts earlier. Like that's the problem with a lot of this stuff is like around here and even back home. I was talking to my brother about it when we were back home. Is like, because there were several roads that were being redone, and there are some that got redone within the last year and some that have been redone this year. And the ones that got redone this year were considerably better shape. And I was like, I can in my truck, I can physically tell a difference between the roads that were just done versus the roads that were done last year. And my brother said, yeah, they pulled the contracts from whoever had been doing them before. And now somebody different is doing the road work around here. And which that's all stuff on the county side of it. And there are a bunch of folks that are like our age and younger that are now in like county council and county committee positions that are pissed off and actually doing something about it, which has a bunch of all the boomers mad because they actually want to do shit and not just keep throwing money at the same people to fuck shit up year after year. But like the no bid, there was a thing that came out about like the no bid contracts on a lot of this road work and shit that gets done around Evansville. And it's like, no fucking wonder Evansville has been under construction for the last, I don't know, I've lived here for 13 years. There's never been a time when I've been here when the roads around here were not under construction year round. It's like they have all these no bid contracts and there's no incentive for them to actually finish it because they don't have to worry about competition. They don't have to worry about the contract getting pulled from them. So they can just keep working at it ad infinitum and keep getting paid forever because nothing's going to change.
And the politicians keep getting the kickbacks from that. So it's one big fucking circle jerk. And the taxpayers are the ones always suffering. Yet they keep voting for these people and they keep believing in the system. Somehow, if we just vote in the right person, if we just pay another 2%, then it's going to solve all these problems. All right. We got to get to the Letitia James.
Okay. We got to speed run Letitia James. Oh, where do we want to start? Well, remember when Letitia James, I thought I had the tweet saved and I can't find it. Remember when Letitia James tweeted that when people were lying about the property, about the values of their property to get better mortgage rates, that was a crime and they should be charged and convicted for that. And
I have that somewhere. Hang on.
She was not talking about herself in this. She was talking about Donald Trump and the case that got thrown out where the banks literally said,
here's what she said. And this was February of last year. When powerful people cheat to get better loans, it comes at the expense of hardworking people. Everyday Americans cannot lie to a bank to get a mortgage. And if they did, our government would throw the book at them. There simply cannot be different rules for different people. Fast forward a year and a half. And it turns out, well, most likely, I guess we haven't seen definitive evidence that she has lied on her mortgage applications. She claimed that a rental property, she's using it as a rental property. We'll get into who's been renting it in just a minute. But she claimed that this rental property which was clearly not even anywhere near the state where she lives. She's the New York Attorney General, and this is was it North Carolina or something?
I thought I thought there was one in Maryland and then another one somewhere else. There's a bunch.
Yeah, there's a lot. Listed it as a primary residence to get a more favorable loan. So that came at the expense of hardworking Americans. And there should not be different rules for powerful people. I think the New York Attorney General is a pretty powerful position, isn't it? I mean, you can try to sue the president, apparently.
Okay, they have uncovered over the last 42 years, she has 12 separate cases where she has falsified information for mortgages. 5 different cases where she completely omitted information that should have been part of her application. And one case where she lied about a primary residence. She also listed her father as her spouse for one of these properties. What the fuck? But I know
honest mistake. I mean, that happens all the time.
And
I've listed my mom as a spouse. I mean, I can't tell you how many times just by accident. It's a whoopsie.
Nobody's above the law.
Representing our respective states, stand up and enforce the rule of law. The president of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
Please sue him for us.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. He cited a property in Virginia that she's allegedly claimed as her principal residence and a property in New York that she claimed as a 4-unit structure instead of the required, instead of a 5, which Pulte says means she was able to get a different type.
Yeah. So yeah, anything 5 or over is a completely different type of loan deal. And you don't qualify. It was like some sort of, I forget exactly which federal housing program it was for, but it was some sort of federal program that you only qualify for if it's under 5 units. Lo and behold, her 5-unit building was 4 all of a sudden. Isn't that so? Who's living in some of these mortgage fraud properties? Could it be fugitives from the law? Could she be harboring fugitives in her mortgage fraud properties?
Not only harboring fugitives, but it's her niece.
Yeah, this is quite this. I just keep thinking of like comparing her family stock to Donald Trump's. It's like Donald Trump's kids are all like these fucking successful. They seem like upstanding citizens. They seem like nice people.
And everybody who's like ever been around the Trump family, that's all they've said about any of his kids is they are all just like the nicest human beings on the planet.
Yeah. So this is that's her niece there. She has an OnlyFans account.
Imagine that. She also has a rap sheet. I think she's been arrested 15 times, but for some reason has not done any jail time.
Is she? So I think she's got 2. So that's her grandniece that has the OnlyFans. She was arrested for lying about a felony record to buy a gun. And the other niece, I think, is the one that was living in the house. She's on the run from some charges, I think, in North Carolina. It's so hard to keep all these fucking felons and all these fraud, mortgage fraud properties.
Yeah, the grandniece is that's her niece's daughter. That's the one with the OnlyFans. It's the niece herself is the convict.
Is the fugitive. She's a fugitive. So she's harboring a fugitive. Who knows? Maybe she bought this property in her name and said it was a primary residence just so that she could give her niece a place to lay low. Could be. I don't know. But now she's harboring a fugitive. I mean, if I had a property that
they're both fugitives.
Okay. Like apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Burglary, larceny, grand larceny, delinquency and abuse of a child on 3 separate occasions, conspiracy to commit larceny, and then the grandniece has grand larceny, false statement on a consent form to try to buy a weapon, and attempted transportation of an illegal firearm.
Okay. There you go. Well, I'd almost like to present that without comment, but that is the family of the Attorney General of New York, ladies and gentlemen. And she's been harboring fugitives. I mean, I think if I had a property in my name and one of my family members was living there and was a fugitive from the law, I think I would get in trouble for that. Would I not?
I believe so, especially if you knew that they were a fugitive and you knew that they were living there.
How could you not know that about your own family?
Yeah, I know everything about
prove intent. That was her big. She didn't even fucking deny these things. She gave some other press conference where she was like, they have to prove intent, and that's a very high bar. She couldn't even deny it. It's not that high of a bar, actually, when you're claiming your second property as your primary residence. There's only one reason to do that.
Right, when you're lying about how many units your property has to qualify
for the government program.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't just
There's
be
only
like,
one
"Oh."
reason to do these things, and it's not just a whoopsie. Oh God, dude, it really is. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up.
Well, I'm talking about that is a great little segue into talking about, you know, lying about your property to try to get better rates and stuff on everything, and circling back to the fat ass governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. Did you ever look any more into this?
No.
All right, we're gonna let the video play, and then I did.
J.B. Pritzker, his wife, and his brother-in-law are now under federal criminal investigation. They allegedly used toilets to avoid taxes. Governor Pritzker purchased this mansion in Chicago back in 2007. It remained vacant for years. According to the Chicago Tribune, all the toilets were removed from the home in October 2015. Doing that allowed the home to be classified as uninhabitable. It changed the property assessment value from $6 million to $1 million. Pritzker profited about $330,000 between tax breaks and tax savings. Today, he maintained that he followed the rules.
I'm very confident that any review of this matter will show that all the rules were followed. Last October, my opponents raised this issue, and it became a political subject last October.
The governor says he has not been contacted by any law enforcement. Back in October, the governor pledged to repay that.
Yeah, technically not illegal, but these are the pay your fair share motherfuckers,
right?
Like if it was you or me who's just been staunchly against taxation in any way, shape, or form, I'd tip my hat. I'd be like, that's a brilliant fucking move. But if you go out there every single fucking day and be like, oh, the rich aren't paying their fair share and they're trying to steal your healthcare and blah, 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 blah. And then you take all the fucking toilets out, save yourself $5 million in tax assessment.
Yeah. Bank 330 grand.
And then you let it ride on fucking black and bank 1.4 million on it or whatever the fuck he was doing in Vegas. That's bullshit, dude. That is fucking bullshit. These people are fucking scum. They don't believe anything they say. They are literally just playing you for a fool. And people keep buying it, hook, line, and sinker. Unreal, man. Unreal. Hey, if you remove all the toilets, you can save $5 million worth of assessed value. That's crazy. That is a loophole. That is one of those tax loopholes that they're always talking about closing. And yet here he is taking advantage of it. Just like Bernie Sanders itemizes all his deductions. The pay your fair share guys are do everything possible to not have to pay their fair share. Why didn't he just sell the fucking I'm sure that thing is doubled or tripled in value since 2007.
He's holding on to it as that it's that's an asset. Like he's holding on to that to increase his net worth. That's not if he needs to, then he'll put the toilets back in it and then he'll sell it. And
what's a toilet cost to put in? Like I'm assuming the bathroom is still there. There's just no toilet.
That's what I would.
Like what's a toilet? Like $500 total, like labor and parts. I have no idea.
You can get a decent toilet for 120, 150 bucks, and I installed
get
all
some
of
fucking pull lock to put it in for another 200.
I installed all of ours myself. It's not hard.
Well, he's not installing shit, dude.
Oh yeah,
that guy can't bend over. He hasn't seen his dick in like 25 years. So anyway, like. Yeah, I don't think you could. You probably can't get him on anything for like just removing the toilets and taking advantage of this tax deal. But that's the level of scum you're dealing with. The one that will come out there and rail about how we need to pay people to pay their taxes so that you can have schools and roads and hospitals and all that shit, police and fire. And yet here he is putting $330,000 into his fat fucking pockets. The guy's worth like $3 billion. Does he need 330 grand over 20 years? No. He's just a greedy piece of shit.
Hey, you don't get rich by spending money on dumb shit like taxes, Johnny.
Absolutely true.
Or I guess you don't stay rich by spending money on taxes.
But just think of how little that saved him over 20 years. To imagine having $3 billion, making $10 million a year, and you go through that to save 330 grand over 20 years.
Making $10 million a year that you claim.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's like what is 330. That's like, I don't know, that's less than $20,000 a year in fucking taxes. 15, 17,000, something like that. Like, unbelievable, man. You know, like there are poor kids, the poor children of Chicago. They need that tax money. The teachers, they're underpaid. They need that tax money.
He could have paid 2 teachers for the year with that $330,000.
Yeah. Think of the children. What a scumbag piece of shit. Unbelievable. Is that it? Is that everything?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to talk about Mitch McConnell falling down, which.
Well, we have 2 funny videos. Before we get to that, like the last thing I sent you was interesting. Little white pill for everybody out there. That graph about the students not identifying as male or female.
Oh yeah, this has been, so it peaked in 2022, 2023, and the non-binary. I was actually going to do an episode of my own show and talk about all of these numbers and everything. That's what I was going to do yesterday. And then we had the whole fucking group chat leak thing that we kind of talked about a little bit on Tuesday. And that hit. And so that kind of blew up all of social media and everything else. So I ended up talking about that yesterday instead. But yeah, some of this stuff is interesting with like when you look at the different graphs and numbers of the number of students who are identifying as gay and lesbian, as non-binary, as the BTQs, like all the other stuff. Like it hit its peak in 22, 23, and it is progressively falling off. Young people are kind of waking up to this.
Fad is over. So I guess, I mean, I don't think you can have a chart like this and claim the argument that people are born that way.
Right?
So what, 2023 was just the year of the fucking tranny? Of the non-binary? So yeah, the fad is over. I think the kids are starting to realize that was gay.
The kids are going to be all right.
I hope so. Man, I'd like to see that trend, that downward trend continue. But yeah, just look at the spike from 2019 to 2023. It went from basically 0% to 9% in a 3-year period. All of a sudden, everybody was just popping out non-binaries. Maybe it's just something that's in the water.
Maybe there's a Trump factor to it, because while already low, it had already been on the decline for a few years.
Trump took office, yeah,
and then after Trump goes out of office, then it spikes again, and then it starts to come back to. But that, I mean, from 23 to 24, that's a sharp drop. Like it's almost like
50%.
And 24 was an interesting year because a lot of the Pride Month bullshit just disappeared in 24. Like there was a lot of pushback on stuff, and because they went way over the top with a whole bunch of insane bullshit in 23, and people started to push back against it. And then you had the Dylan Mulvaney thing with Bud Light and all of that. And I think young people started to realize this is all fucking insane. I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
And then they started a bunch of Nazi group chats. So yeah.
Yeah, the pendulum swung the other way.
We're winning.
I think they realized that the Democrats weren't the cool party anymore. Like Donald Trump is fucking cool. and Kamala Harris and her ilk are not. Joe Biden was certainly not cool. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But that trend is heading it back in the right direction.
Speaking of old people who aren't cool, we get Mitch McConnell.
Excuse me, Senator. My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
Yeah, so for the listening audience, this is Mitch McConnell. Just falls, just biffs it. There was no step there. There was no wet spot or anything. He just is a goddamn geezer who should have been put out to pasture a long time ago. These old motherfuckers, dude. You know, somebody was like, oh, why doesn't he should just retire and spend time with his kid, his family, and his grandkids or whatever. I don't know if he's probably got grandkids. I don't know.
He doesn't care about any of them fuckers.
But exactly. These people are sociopaths. They're narcissistic fucksticks that don't give a shit about their family, which is why they're clinging to power like this.
Dad used to be on the ag credit board. He was the vice chair and treasurer at different times, and so for West Kentucky. And so they would go to Washington to meet with the state senators and representatives. And he was like, met with McConnell once and never voted for him again. He was like, that dude's like straight up fucking scum. And then, you know, you find out who the legitimately good ones are. God, I miss Jim Bunning. He was a fun motherfucker. I got to hang out with Jim Bunning a couple times. He was like a ex Major League Baseball player and just the most like politically incorrect senator on the fucking planet. I love Jim Bunning. God, he was such a great, just so fun to be around. But
we just have all these geriatrics waddling around the Capitol now. It's ridiculous. It's basically just a nursing home that we're funding with tax dollars. Get them all out of there. Jesus. But before we go, I want to get your reaction to that Michelle Obama clip. I don't know if you've heard this one.
Oh no, I saw you send it, but I hadn't seen it. Hang on, let me pull it up. Let's see what Michelle Obama.
This one was interesting.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
I wanted to.
You can pull it back about 10 seconds and.
That warms my heart, particularly as a Black man.
Is that a Freudian slip?
I think she means for Marlon Wayans as a Black man, but
perhaps.
But it warms Michelle's heart as a Black man. So that's
yeah. Thought we could get out of here on a high note. Big Mike warms her heart as a Black man.
They got to do something different with her hair, because the older she gets and the more boxy her shoulders get and the more her hairline is doing what it's doing, and they keep doing this with her hair, it just frames her face up to look more masculine. It's like you are not doing her any favors. There's the meme that if you were actually any good at being trans, people wouldn't misgender you. And like they're
yeah. Well, dude, I don't know. I just can't get past her busted grill. Like her teeth are jacked up.
Well, that's because
I don't know why she doesn't get. You got hundreds of millions of dollars. Go get your teeth fixed.
Well, that's because she had to buy her own food when they were in the White House. Remember?
Oh yeah, I know, dude. She has. As anybody, like, if you've listened to any of the clips from her podcast, she's literally the worst. First of all, she hates Barack Obama. She has nothing but disdain for him, and she doesn't like her kids. She talked about how like basically the first like 12 years of motherhood were like miserable for her.
Well, because she doesn't
that's like all of motherhood.
Because she lacks those natural motherly instincts. Because there's this womb thing required for that, and they can artificially install one of those, but that doesn't make it functional or give you the instincts that come along with it.
Yeah, hated being a mother. And remember, this is somebody who nobody would know her name if it weren't for Barack Obama. Can't stand him. Constantly dresses him down on the podcast. Talks shit about him. The way he chews really drives her crazy.
Oh, dude, we complain about our wives on the morning show all the time. I'm going to send an email to Barack Obama and be like, look, dude, if you just want to come on a show that literally nobody is going to see and gripe about your wife, we will have you on any fucking time.
That'd be hilarious.
We explicitly try to avoid talking about politics. We don't care about what you think about anything. You can just come and bitch about your wife, and we will be cool with you, and we can all be drinking buddies. Like, we'll get together on Friday nights and do a happy hour and talk shit and play games. Like,
you and Barack are going to become best friends. That would be hilarious.
We'll shoot hoops together.
Yeah. All she does is complain. Oh, I hate motherhood. I hate my husband. Oh, we got all this money, but I can't go out in public, and we have to pay for our food.
We can talk about our throat problems. Mine esophagus induced, his Big Mike induced,
Yeah. Me as a black man warms my heart. All right. We should probably get out of here on that. There you go. Definitive proof that Michelle Obama is, in fact, a man. You heard it here first. You heard it from her, himself, herself. I don't know. But that was good. That was a fun one. Happy Friday, everybody. I don't think we're going to do a happy hour. Well, if you want to do one, I don't think I can make it.
Oh. Shit, we might get on here and drink for a little bit, and then me and Magoo and Forte will go play Halo or something.
There you go. You can still play Halo?
Hell yeah. You need to get you an Xbox and Game Pass, and we'll play Halo.
I'm going to a Lucha Libre cage match. First one. Yeah. I was like, I've been in Mexico all this time. I haven't been to a cockfight or a Lucha Libre thing. And one's in town. So I'm going to go hit that up.
Do the Lucha Libre, go to a cockfight, but avoid the donkey shows.
There you go. Sound advice. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a nice weekend. You got anything else going on? Is that it?
Yeah, I can't think of it. I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, we'll be back on Tuesday with a brand new episode. Until then, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.